Gregory brushed the last specks of dirt off the artifact. Period. His heart raced. Period. He knew what he'd found. Comma, perhaps 3 or 4 others like it had been found before. Comma, and each had gone for a hefty sum. Period. He knew it was an artifact, comma, that it belonged to the school. Period. He looked around. Period. Nobody was watching him. Period. Nobody would know. Period. He picked up the artifact. Comma, felt its weight in his hand. Period. Rectangular, comma, flat, comma, perhaps a little bit bigger than a playing card. Period. One face of this one was a metallic blue, comma, while the other side, comma, like the others, comma, was glass. Period. New paragraph. Delete that. Delete last word. He brought the lantern closer, comma, and turned up the flame so we could better see his new find. Period. This one was different. Period. On the back, comma, near the bottom, comma, an icon in the shape of an apple. Period. This was new, comma, and the buyers liked new things, comma, even if they were extremely old. Period. New line. Back at the university, comma, they'd cracked one open. Period. The insides were incredibly intricate. Comma, with fine golden filigrees traced on a thin green material, comma, the line work so amazingly intricate that Gregory doubted it could have been accomplished by human hands. Period. There were other oddities as well. Period. Incredibly small lenses, comma, the purpose of which had yet to be discovered. Period. small mechanical contraptions, comma, so tiny as to put the finest watchmakers to shame, period.
Come along, no more stops. We need to find
New
our way
line.
to solitude.
Gregory laughed,
Even going to a wedding
period.
that's far from
Hopefully this artifact would fund his next year of college, comma, God willing, period. All he had to do was ... New line. Delete last 4 words. Do was keep it away from Dr. Buller, comma, and the other students, period. What they didn't know, ... New line. Open quote. Comma, Gregory. Delete last 2 words. Gregory! Exclamation point. What have you found? Question mark. Close quote. Startled, comma. Gregory fumbled with the artifact. Comma, and dropped it into the dirt from which he'd retrieved it. Period. He looked over his shoulder to see the form of Dr. Buller, comma. White hair reflecting the lantern light. Period. He traced an impressive form against the early evening sky, comma. His muscular bulk not keeping with his bookish attitude, period. New line. Dr. ... Dr. Buller! Exclamation point. Close quote. Gregory stammered, comma, rising to his feet, period. New line. Dr. Buller stooped over to pick up the artifact. Open quote. Marvelous! Exclamation point. Close quote. He turned it over in his hand. Period. His face lit up like a school kid's. Period. Open quote. Look at the way the blue reflects the light. Period. I'll never understand how they do that. Period. As he continued to examine it, delete that. Delete last 6 words. Close quote. New line. As he continued to examine it, comma, he questioned the red-faced Gregory. Period. Open quote. So Gregory, comma, to what use were these artifacts put? Question mark, close quote. New line. Open quote. Well, comma, doctor, comma, judging by their prevalence, comma, many are of the mind that they had a ritual component to them. Comma, perhaps even religious. Period. Close quote. New line. Dr. Buller nodded, comma, smiling. Open quote. Exactly. Period. We believe that the people of Say-El carried these on their persons.
Go conjure fancy magic someplace else.
Perhaps to appease their gods. Period. As we get closer to Say-El, comma, we shall be looking for things to verify this hypothesis. Period. Close quote. New line. Dr. Buller slipped the artifact in a pouch at his waist, comma, and clapped Gregory on the back. Period. Open quote. Might as well pack it up for the night, comma, Gregory. Period. Good work! Exclamation point. Close quote. And with that, comma, the doctor left him alone in his pit. Period.
Trouble?
Why am I so much taller than you? New line. Delete last word.
I mostly deal with petty thievery and drunken brawls. Been too long since we've had a
Delete
good
last
time
word.
today.
New line.
I used to be an adventurer like you, but I took an arrow in the knee.
Gregory swore as he watched the doctor walk away with his tuition. Period. No matter. Period. This was their first night here. Period. The place was probably crawling with similar artifacts. Period. If he was lucky, comma, you might stumble upon a trove. Like Dr. Michelle had back in Carvey Town. Period. He knew for a fact that the doctor had only reported about half of his findings to the university. Period. The other half had purchased him 2 new horses, comma, a new carriage, comma, and a well-maintained place just outside of the city.
Go cast your fancy magic someplace else.
Period. Stop recording.